Hi everyone, Anna here from Girl in the Deep Blue Sea. I just wanted to talk to you today about a few of the new designs that I now have available as fabrics. The first one is called Pool Party, and this is it printed out. This design was actually inspired by some cool photos that I took of these really hot pink frangipanis that I found floating in our paddling pool. And I painted the frangipanis. This is the original artwork. And then I wanted to try to get that nice rippled effect that you see when the light shines on the pool and it looks all sparkly and cool. That was a bit challenging. I did some sketching in my journal of water ripples and tried to match up the sides here so that when I scanned it in, I could turn it into a repeat. It kind of worked. It took a lot of photoshopping to get it to actually join up, but that is the final result. I'm pretty happy with this one. I think it says summer, fun, bright, and I think it'd look pretty cool on swimwear or outdoor homewares, especially around a pool, which would be really cool. The next one is called Hibiscus Burst, and that's this one. Now this one came about, I did a art challenge for myself at the start of the year, and one of the things I painted were hibiscus, and these are the original paintings that I did. I used my favourite hot pink and orange and yellow acrylic paints for these ones. Just went really crazy painting one day, which was really fun. And I really like the idea of the flowers with cone shells. Cone shells are quite striking. So this is a really simple acrylic painting I did again, which was hard for me. I find it hard to do things that are simple rather than really detailed. But I was happy with those and basically played around, scanned them in, played around in Photoshop and got this pattern out of it, which I think is a really fun pattern. This design is called Blue Lagoon. I actually created this one entirely in Photoshop using photos of mine. I went for tropical motifs of things like hibiscus, cone shells, tropical leaves. This design was actually a result of one of the Spoonflower challenges. This particular one was to create a design using tones of Pantone's Classic Blue, which is the colour of the year this year, 2020. I initially found this probably a little bit challenging because if you've seen my other designs, most of them are quite bright. Classic Blue is not bright at all, but I really wanted to play with the idea of using this technique I've come across, which is to get like a stencil, graffiti stencil effect in Photoshop. So I did that with my photos and I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. The sort of stencil effect I use has made it look quite three-dimensional, as you can see, and it's quite a striking design, but at the same time I find because it's just using tones of the one colour, it's also quite subtle. So this one is a surprise for me. I never would have thought of doing something like this till I was challenged, but I'm really happy with this style. So happy in fact that I decided to do it in another colorway which is a little bit brighter, which is this one, and I've called this one Aqua Lagoon. So it's kind of lost some of that real three-dimensional effect, being different colors, but it's a little bit more I would say my style with the colors. But yeah, they're two designs that I'm quite happy with. This design is called Bird of Paradiso because I think it looks a little bit like the Bird of Paradise flowers. This one is a result of another Spoonflower challenge, which was a paper cut challenge. I did this while I had my daughter at home all the time at the start of lockdown from COVID, and had basically no time to do anything. But I found that, you know, even if I was tired at night, sitting there and cutting out bits of paper and gluing it was actually really fun and relaxing. I ended up just coming up with this. This was my paper cutting results. This is paper that I just painted with gouache and cut out the shape. So I had no idea what I was doing. I was just cutting and seeing what happened, and that's what happened. And they were really easy to scan in, because if you're ever looking at scanning things in with that kind of bold background, it was incredibly easy to scan and clean it up in Photoshop. And basically played around to get this design. This is a half drop repeat that I did, and I really like this one. This one I really want to turn into napkins because I think it would look really cool as it's on a table setting, because it's just so in your face. But I don't know, it says napkins to me for some reason. So these designs have a really, really original name of Pink Palms Light and Pink Palms Dark. I was very creative that day that I named these ones. These designs came about how a lot of my designs come about, and I don't know if this is normal, but I will have the idea in my head. I'll imagine the complete design, and then I will write down or sketch quickly my idea, and then when I get a chance I'll try to paint or draw or do whatever it is to create this vision that I had of a design. This is one of those where I just imagined one day little pink palms with white dots, and this is what I sat and painted. I'll just talk about this pink. This is my favorite one to use. It's an ink paint called, from Dilutions, I think, called Bubblegum Pink. It's so bright, it's awesome. Anyway, that's the original artwork, and I imagine this as a really simple repeat pattern, which is what I've done here, and on this pale background. And I decided when I got it printed out to try a darker background, which is this one here, and I quite like that colour. It actually makes the palms really pop. And just with this one, sometimes you sort of send something off to be printed and you kind of like, yeah, it'll be okay. Sometimes you get one back and you actually like it way more in real life than what you like it on the computer screen. This is one of those for me with this pale background on fabric. It just has a different look for me, and I actually really like it. I'm quite happy with this one. So that is Pink Palms. So all of these fabrics that I've been talking about are now available in my Spoonflower shop. And if you don't know Spoonflower, it's basically a print-on-demand company that specialises in fabrics and home furnishings and also wallpaper. So I've got the link in my bio to my shop. You can check out these designs and my other designs, and you can order fabrics in whatever type of fabric, or you can do things like have, table mats, wallpaper, all sorts of things. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that little insight into those designs. Thanks